afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for, I'd like to thank the INCAS for inviting me in this wonderful conference. And hopefully I can get this without any help. Okay, here we go. So I will be talking about the importance of the immune system in anti-aging medicine. Why do we age? The immune system is compromised. There are disrupted cellular communications. There is hormonal decline and increased toxicity. Let's talk about the compromised immunity first. The immune system is a complex network of cells and organs. The innate represents the skin, cough, reflex, mucous, membrane, stomach, acid cells, and the adaptive represents the thymus, spleen, tonsils, bone marrow, circulatory, and lymphatic systems. Now, the aging happens as a result because of the naive cells are replaced by memory T cells. There is a decline in the immune system functions, and there is susceptibility to infections and disease. The naive T cells are the new recruits. The memory T cells are sort of the veterans. They're less diverse. Naive T cells are more diverse. Now, the T cells receptors, there is a decreased T cell communications with aging. And you can see at the slide here under the microscope what it seems for the young and the aged regarding the T cell receptor communications. Now you see here the T receptor, T cell receptor that is communicating is helped by the helper T cell, and together they join hands to sandwich the foreign mechanism, the foreign particle that has infected a cell. And that's how basically they communicate. There's a communication that is happening. Now, the immune decline is due to TRC decline. So the communications, the TRC, remember that you saw before how they're communicating to protect different cells when they're infected. This, you can see the young T cell has a very high TRC, and the old T cell has a very low TRC. This is the two bars that we need to look at. Now, of course, the solution is exercise. We all know that. The exercise, the more you exercise, the more you strengthen your immune system, and you're avoiding illness. Let's talk now about the disrupted cell communications. We spoke about it a little bit when we were talking about the TRC communications, how they're disrupted with the aging. But in aging, all communications are disrupted. These cells from age to decrease membrane fluidity, the breakdown of two cells, signaling proteins decreases with aging, and complex transduction is defective with aging. And what you saw before here is the young cells and the aged cells, and you can see the difference. You see the more red, that means there is more cellular communications with the young and much less with the aged. This is a significant difference that is due to histological research. Now, Zia et al. In 2006 made a very laborious study, and they studied about 7,103 protein-to-protein communications and they found that disruption in the communications in the proteins between the aged subjects was the biggest difference between the young and the aged. The solution to that is signaling technologies that are designed to repair broken biological connectors, and one of them is the pacemaker that replaces the signal of the pacemaker cells, and another one is the signal of the effortless exercise. It was made by the same people that invented the pacemaker in London University after 17 years of research, and then was another 10 years of research in trying to work on this type of technology. Now, another aspect of aging and that affects the immune system is the hormonal decline. And of course, all hormones are declining with aging. IGF-1, testosterone, estrogens, progesterone, and DHEA. Estrogens and testosterone differentially affect adipocyte physiology, leading to obesity and hypersterolemia in males, it's called, and there is some research to support that. Estrogen deficiency enhances metabolic dysfunction in women, and also there is research to support this, extensive research. Growth hormones decline with age. The effects of growth hormones are quite extensive. Thyroid hormones, metabolic hormones in the aging process are reducing resting metabolic rate. That means there are calories burned when the body is at rest are significantly less in the aged rather than the young, and that's why they become bigger. That's why they increase, the obesity is much higher. Now, inflammation in the young is a great thing because it helps to fight disease, but in the old, it becomes a big problem because it leads to diabetes, heart disease, etc., and it becomes a chronic inflammation. Toxicity, of course, your habits and your lifestyle and the things you do will harm your immune system, several of those. And what toxicity does, it basically interferes with hormones and either mimics some hormones to increase them, so you have an imbalance, a hormonal imbalance, or they block the hormones, which is mostly what's happening in the aging, and then, of course, the cellular response is diminished. So again, obesity is the result of all those aspects. Now, there's 5 fat-burning hormones that connecting, ghrelin, insulin, leptin, and cortisol, and all of these hormones are interfered by toxicity. Now, the visceral fat, what it does, it brings it invades different organs, including the liver, the pancreas, even the heart. So as it invades it, it surrounds it, as you can see in the heart that has the fat around it. Not only surrounds, but it invades it. As it invades it, it diminishes its functioning. Now, a recent systematic review has shown that obesity has significantly higher mortality. Exercise, of course, again, does the trick. 0.98 reactive protein, which has to do with inflammation, was 0.98 with light exercise, and 0.53 with vigorous exercise, 0.85 with moderate. So obviously, vigorous exercise will decrease inflammation and will enhance your immune system and your health. But the visceral fat is a problem. Because again, it's right there in the organs, and it increased because the resting metabolic rate is much higher with the aged, and it cannot be removed with lasers or radiofrequency or plastic surgery or liposuction. And if you're exercising, you will not get that beautiful body of the young man. You will get the body of an older man that still has the visceral fat and has built the muscle on top of the visceral fat. And some people just cannot exercise. They have body aches. People on statins cannot exercise. Diabetics and obese people cannot exercise. People with muscle atrophy cannot exercise. So the exercise is a solution, but not for everybody. And for those that cannot exercise, the only solution remains is the effortless exercise. And this is a movie that you can see how basically effortless exercise works. It came in London University, and basically it simulates strenuous exercise. And it does that, it sends a signal to the motor nerve, and in response, the motor nerve expands that signal to other motor nerves, and all of these waves of motor nerves are going to reach the brain. And the brain will respond the same way that it will respond during normal exercise. It will have to release thyroid and growth hormones. The insulin signals will enter the cells like they normally do. The adipocytes will start shrinking, and all that energy from the fat cells will get into the bloodstream and will be utilized in the mitochondria to create ATP, and the ATP, the energy from that will build the muscle through actin and myosin, which is some of the proteins, along with IGF-1. So basically what happens during active exercise happens during this particular technology as well. It burns fat to build as an energy source to build muscle, and it does it through hormones. And there is studies with MRIs that have shown a significant decrease of visceral fat, as you can see here on the slide. And there are also MRI studies that have shown a significant increase in the muscle mass. Some clinical studies, you can see this lady, fatty liver before treatments, there was no fatty liver after treatments, and the diabetic status was significantly reduced. And also she had a significant improvement in the back pain, well, because obviously she did not have to carry the weight as well, as that it also helps the back pain. This is another case. This is the weight before treatment and after, and also there is, as you can see, the insulin, need for the insulin became much less. Triglycerides were significantly reduced, and HDL was also reduced, and again the back pain significantly reduced. This is another, this is an Indian lady actually. It came from Dr. Shdalpadami, and this is another Indian lady actually. There's a lot of obesity in India, so it's a very useful treatment there. And this is a gentleman from Hong Kong, and this is a clinical study we did.
Time is up, you need to wrap. Yeah.
I'm done actually. This is a clinical study on lymphatic drainage. As you can see, there's a big difference in the before and the after picture in just a very short time. Our research is based on several countries, United States, Europe, and Asia, and this is our references. Thank you very much.